Join us as to make welcome our guests for today. It is time to talk. This is the Kranda Show.
Here comes Kaine.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. Okay.
So today we're talking about social media.
Yes.
So can you share your personal experience with social media? How did you first get involved in social media?
When I was in senior secondary 3, that is when I was about to write my SSCE. I had wanted to be on Facebook way back when I was in JSS3, but I met resistance, a very steep resistance from my parents, that it was not right for me then to be on social media because they considered it as a form of distraction to my academics and other school activities. So they kept, preventing me to have one to be. In fact, they even, prevented me. They even refused to buy phone for me to be on social media in the first place until when I reached, SS3, about to write my WAEC. That was when they felt that it was now time for me to have a smartphone. So when I owned my own smartphone, the first I could remember vividly social media app that I had an account on is Facebook, and to this day Facebook is my favorite social media app because I'm more available on Facebook than any other social media apps.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
So what would you say is the most significant advantage of social media?
Well, social media, just like any other phenomenon, just like any other thing, it is a double-edged sword. It comes with merits and demerits, with pros and cons. But for me, generally, social media, its advantage, its positivities outweigh the disadvantages, because we are talking of a world where about 5 billion people, are on social media, which roughly represents more than 63% of the world's population. And whether you like it or not, it has come to stay, and it is a different world entirely on its own. Part of the advantages of social media, I think for me, it's about seamless communication or effective communication, because this is where you get to have people from different walks of life, people from across the length and breadth of the world, exchanging their opinions, their views, their experiences, and most importantly, sharing, educational content and features. So it makes our world to be a global village where, my parents and my great, grandparents did not have the opportunity to see what was happening in America on the real time during their days. Did not have the opportunity to learn from home. Did not have the opportunity to enroll for masters, for first degree online. But here we are today. Social media has revolutionized our communication, has revolutionized our governance, has revolutionized our economic sector, and it just makes things fantastic and easier for us. And then another important thing that I see on social media is the fact that people can use it to hold business and political leaders accountable, most especially like Twitter. And we have seen these instances on countless occasions, where people used to ask questions about certain policies of the government. And through social media, the voice of the masses have been heard. And on so many occasions, we have seen how voice of the masses that, has been expressed through social media has helped influence government policies and decisions. The example of NSAS protest can be cited. It was largely, the power of social media that reared its head. So it comes with a lot of advantages.
So true.
Yes.
And also, the other side. What are some of the most pressing concerns you see related to social media use today?
The most pressing concern, which I would like to dwell more on, is our Gen Z generation on social media. That is Generation Zoomers. This is a generation that is born between 1997 to 2012.
Are you not among those?
I am among them, so I'm talking from experience. Yes. This is the generation that is belief that it has never lived offline. You remember that the first social media app to be invented was in 1997 called 6 Degrees. So it's basically that my generation has never been offline. We have been online throughout, our stay on this planet Earth. But it still comes with some certain concerns for me that parents should be able to set some standard for the, Generation Zoomers, Gen Zs. Gen Z generally is not something people always, demonize Gen Z because they say we're words or we tend to feel, above the sky. But the truth of the matter is that the society can capitalize. We are tech service. That's why they call us digital natives. We are so much into internet. We are so much into digital technology. So I believe there are a lot of ways that the society can use to make, better use of Gen Zs. And social media has affected my generation in a very, very adverse way in some occasions, because we've seen how then, before the invention of social media, the family used to come together, at 7 p.m. for dinner, and at 9, the family once again gathers by the TV set, watches the, NTN network news, discuss national issues with their parent. But those have passed now. Now what you have is at 7 p.m., most families have their WhatsApp platforms. You'll just see a message by the mother or the cook that the dinner is ready, and everyone gets to the kitchen, serve himself, and of course goes back to his bed. So in one way or the other, we are creating a kind of disconnected family values. Disconnected family values is at risk, because when the parents and the children don't come together, sit, discuss career choices as it used to be before, then it's a problem. It's a threat to family values, and that's why I want to advise that there should be a set timeline for Gen Z before they be on social media. And of course, there is the need for parents to develop a kind of to foster healthy behaviors or healthy practices by encouraging their children on offline hobbies such as sports, reading, and of course other activities that are offline, so that the Generation Zoomers will be able to balance their digital life and the real world.
You've spoken so well.
Yes.
I didn't want to come in because I had a lot of questions. But I wanted to actually say everything you want to say.
Yes.
Now, mental health is a big national issue.
Oh, yes.
Now, how will you say that mental health has affected people through social media, especially the youth?
Well, when you talk about mental health, I think the larger demography that suffers from mental health on social media still is the Gen Z, and even in that Gen Z, the Gen Z girls suffer the most when it comes to mental health. Yes, the girls, because it is gathered by data reporter that 67% of Gen Z girls on social media complain about suffering from mental health because of social comparison. They see things online that are not real. They try to compare themselves with idealized image, with something unreal futures. They compare their social status with what they see online. Little do they know that some of the things are not even...
Most of the things
are not real in reality. Yes. So it is reported that 67% of Gen Z girls suffer from mental health. And it is important for our society, the families, the society, and even educational institutions to organize a kind of training and to develop a curriculum where social media, usage should be taught for Gen Zs to know that, look, not all the things you see online are real. So people need to be very mindful of what they consume on social media. You should be very intentional about some of the content we consume.
This actually is not only for the youth or for the young people. Even adults suffer this mental health issue. Because social media is like a mirror. People want to be like, a reflection. You see something on social media, you just want to be in that place. You just want to wish you are
there.
And then now they have all these fake backgrounds. Someone can be in one room and pretend as though he or she has gone around the world.
Of course.
And when you see the person in the physical life,
the
person is actually living in one lungu.
Of course. Yes.
And then you are there, trying to kill yourself for this person.
Of course.
It's so terrible.
It's so terrible. That's what fake life is thriving. It's one of the most thriving industry in Nigeria or African countries because of social media.
Yeah, because fake life is actually real. People believe that you fake it until you make it. Now people live this fake life as real life.
Yes.
It's because it's just like someone that tells a lie. He's now used to the tongue. This fake life, there are people that live it so perfectly that it's hard for you to even believe that it's fake life.
Yes.
Now, how can someone in this society, adult or youth, or especially the youth, be able to say, you know what, this is not the kind of life I want to live? How can they make up their mind to that level to say, no, this is not what I want, even if it's real. This is what I want. Like trying to differentiate themselves from that social media life, even if they think it's real. But this is not what I want for myself. I want to face my academic. How can we help to make these things, different?
Well, I think it will be pretty difficult for that to happen, because one of the things that most of us suffer from is what we call FOMO. That is fear of missing out. Yes, we are always very mindful of FOMO. We don't want to miss out on any trending topics. We want to belong. We want to belong to any trending topic, to any trending phenomenon. So that actually keeps us to always be on social media.
And then being on social media is not actually the bad thing. It's your understanding.
Of course.
And then even as an adult, you need to discipline yourself. Social media takes our time, takes our mind, takes our consciousness.
Everything.
And before you know, you spend 4 hours. And sometimes you leave your pot on the stove and it burns. And some people forget to even go pick up their kids from school. But relating to Gen Z's, Gen Z's. People just look for things that suit them.
Yes.
It's so sad. So how can users strike a balance between enjoying the benefit of social media while migrating his insight?
To strike a balance between our social media usage and our real life, I think for me, I will give 3 to 4 fundamental advice. One is, of course, the need to set screen time apps, which I use and it works for me.
Okay.
Yes. One of them is, the one I use is digital well-being. where it alarms or it tells me how frequent I use my phone or how frequent I use a particular app. So it alarms me that, no, this is your time to be on social media and this is not the right time. This is the time for you to exit. So, and it works for me, and I always try as much as I can to stick to it so that I will be able to strike a balance so that it will not consume the greater part of my time in a day.
Your time, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, time, they say, is money.
No, in Nigeria, time is no money.
Okay, that's a topic for another day.
Yes.
And the second thing, as I said earlier on, you know, in the program, as I did say in the beginning, that there is a need to encourage offline hobbies. Encouraging offline hobbies is very important now. Encouraging reading, you know, people can, like now I belong to about 2 reading clubs, so that I will always engage myself in reading rather than spending my time throughout on social media or sports. Sometimes I do horse riding. Sometimes I do it just to keep myself busy offline. And of course, there are a lot of other offline hobbies that people can do to keep themselves offline. And then the third one is, of course, the need for us to be very mindful and intentional of content creation, of what we consume on social media is very important for us, because some of the things we see are instigating. Some of the things that are being posted or shared are things that, if we are not even careful enough, it may cause a pogrom or a kind of chaos in a particular, because something can happen in Kano and then one person will just go to his social media app, take it out of context, that look, these Hausas are attacking Igbos in Kano, and before you know, you will see another similar incidents in Enugu or in Anambra, thereby causing situations. Yes. So there is the need for us to be very, to have that critical thinking, to know, to have that fact-checking skills, to know what is real and what is fake.
It's hard to do that because now people do a lot of content creation.
Yes.
And people create content out of everything.
Yes.
And so content, imagine the husband and wife that did the content in the airport.
Yes.
About, sharing the international passport.
Yes,
It took a while for people knew that was the content.
Yes.
Probably they used their old passport and they planned it and it looked so real. MTA News carried it.
You see. Of course, it was content.
People go far for content.
Yes.
So for me to have viewers, I can just go to Kano and just see on Friday, I just see people, doing something, and then I'll just translate it to something else.
Yes, of
How
course.
can this thing be checked?
And that's why over the years there has been a call that government should, to some degree, regulate our social media because at least we'll be able to have sanity on social media platforms. And some, came with the argument that we'll be able to hold the government accountable in case if such thing happens, that will say, you regulate the social media, so why will you allow that to happen? And then the other side of the argument believe that no, government should not interfere in regulating our social media because basically it infringes upon our fundamental human rights, which is essentially the freedom of expression and freedom of speech. But generally, I belong to the school of thought that believes that to some extent there is the need for government to regulate social media handles.
Without bias, because if the government actually do that sincerely, government will do it selfishly to favor themselves. It has to be a balance.
Yes.
You're doing something, as long as it's not fake news, that will bring maybe something bad to the country. You can do your social media content. But if government now begin to do it in a way that people cannot do certain, government will not do it nicely for my own. I think they
They-
want to do it selfishly.
I think the area for me, the area that I want government to focus more is regulating aspects of social media that may endanger, as you said, national security,
Fake news,
hate speech.
information, yes.
You understand all these aspects. There
Yeah.
should be certain degree of regulations on it.
Yeah,
That's why I want government to
Yeah.
come in.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But then when it has to do with content, content creation that are harmless, or when it has to do with certain group advocating for a particular policy change or advocating, for a particular social change, I think government should not have anything to do in that aspect, because through this social media, I'll just give an example of, over the last weeks, Maiduguri was inundated by floods. You're aware. More than 70% of Maiduguri was submerged. And immediately when that thing happened, the youth actually took the best advantage of social media to mobilize funding from national and international donors. They were able to use social media to advocate for the needs, that people are really suffering, because people are really affected.
And this is real.
And through that social media, they convince the donors that the funds you send, this is how it has been used. It's going to the intended, beneficiaries.
The advantages you cannot stop. Because,
You cannot stop.
But we don't want the disadvantage to overpower the advantage. Social media is actually a good place.
Yes.
And it depends on what we are looking
For.
what the person is looking for.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. We're going on a break. We'll be right back.
Catch up on our weekly programs on the Kaine Kranda show, from pillow talk to talk shows and kitchen sessions. The streets are not left out, as we also engage via our street hangouts and student dialogue. Entertainment at its peak with music star and sports review with a host of other exciting programs. Tune into our YouTube channel and other social media channels at the Kaine Kranda show to stay engaged all day long.
Welcome back. We'll be chatting with a very young Gen Z, Mr. Abdullahi, and he's making, a good point, talking about social media advantages and disadvantages. And then, there's no better person that can speak around that than, one of the Gen Zs. And the points he's been raising is actually quite interesting. And this, I'm sure parents will find interesting as well. So we're asking this last question.
Yes.
If you're given the opportunity, say the president invites you to make a ruling, one thing you would change about social media, what would that be?
Well, for me, the only thing that I think needs to be changed, to say the least, is the continuing decay of our morals, especially on TikTok. We are now in a world where when you go to TikTok, what you see is nudity being spread on TikTok, all in the name of content creation. So if there is a way that the government and all this, or the TikTok itself, I'm talking about TikTok specifically, that people will be prevented from uploading nude pictures or nude videos or nude, content, will be very happy for that.
That's a good wish.
Yes.
But that is when the TikTok is bought by a Nigerian. The Nigerian can do such rules.
Yes. Yes, but looking at the, there is what we call sovereignty. Remember that somewhere in 2020, the president made a tweet. The then president made a tweet on Twitter, and the Twitter found it very offensive.
Yeah.
They deleted it.
Yeah.
And you know what the government had to do then? They totally banned Twitter
For Nigeria.
for Nigerians for a while.
Yeah.
So and until when Twitter makes some certain corrections, some certain overhauls. So what I'm saying here in essence is there should be some certain changes in TikTok algorithm.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Which is, in fact, there should be changes in so many things.
Yes.
You know, allowing parents to use. I've seen videos on TikTok
Yes.
where little boys, little kids of 3 years, 5 years, is smoking.
Yes.
And parents are there watching and making the videos.
Yes.
I've seen video where a little child, maybe 7 years,
Yes.
and he's having sex with a girl,
With a
and
girl.
someone is there taking the video.
Videos.
So those are things like, who are the people taking the videos? You see that? And who are the people posting the videos? So what are they encouraging? Those are facts. You know?
You see, people think life starts and ends on money. They all do that to create content that will, at the end of the day, fetch them money.
If you are for viewership.
Yes. So, but there are a lot of other decent and positive ways you can earn cool money on social media.
It's faster, it's faster when you do the crazy.
Yes, it's faster. Nigerians want to cut corners on everything. But there are a lot of ways, fantastic ways, positive ways that you can use to, earn your own money. We've seen how YouTubers, organize tutorials on YouTube, and at the end of the day, they get away with, their dollars, while the viewers get away with knowledge that ordinarily you will not even find it. Understand? So it's a win-win. It can be a win-win situation when people, begins to look for positive ways to earn money on social media. Yes.
Anyway, it's been fun talking with this Gen Z young guy, young man, all the way from Maiduguri. And today we hope you learned something. Social media topic can never, can never be tired to talk about. There's a lot to talk about social media. Our mental health, our daily life, our time consumption. Everything. The mirror we see when we want to see ourselves, social media. Everything. I don't know what you get from social media. If you want to share, that's fine. Have you gotten what you're looking for? Are you still looking? Did you find your spouse, your wife, your husband on social media? Let us know. Keep sharing and follow. Don't forget, this is a kind of condition.
It's time to talk.